Hi guys, I am Vignesh. Now we are going to model a simple bearing bush in Solidworks. Select a front plane and create a new sketch. Use a midpoint line just to draw one vertical line at the right area. What is the dimensions of this overall bearing bush means the height is nothing but 6 plus 42 plus 6. But I just use a 42 mm to draw my center line area. Why I just giving the dimensions for the center line profile means then only I can able to draw within the ratios for rest of the profiles. Then change it into a construction line. Afterwards, use a vertical line. Use a line profile to draw a complete 2D profile. Within this line also, we can able to draw a 3-point arc. By holding your mouse area on the particular portions, we get an yellow color indication mark. Within that, we can able to draw this arc profile. Once it is drawn, now we can easily use the smart dimensions at the right area. What is the dimensions of this? The overall dimension is nothing but 24 mm. We just ignore this small washer portion. We just draw the particular area itself. So use the center line. Selecting this vertical line. What is the total dimensions for this area is 24 mm. Then selecting this vertical line and just give the another horizontal dimensions of 39 mm. Afterwards, look at the curvy portions. The overall dimensional area for this bush horizontal dimension is 48 mm. If I want to give the 48 mm of the dimension, I need to draw one simple line profile by connecting both the center point. Afterwards, make it into a vertical constraints and use the smart dimensions. Then give the horizontal dimensions of 48 divided by 2, 24 mm. Once it is given, it is perfectly positions. Then we need to assign the vertical dimensions for this area. The vertical dimensions for this particular portion is 6 mm. Same as like a bottom one also, same 6 mm. Within the line itself, we just created this kind of an area. Okay. Once it is created, now just selecting this particular point and make it into horizontal constraints. Because it is the exact one with the dimensions of 42 mm. Let's create a solid body by using of that. How we can simply create a solid body using of revolved bosses itself. Selecting this vertical center line, it's easy to create a revolved boss body. Afterwards, selecting a front plane and create a simple solid body at the right area. Before that, we just select the top faces and draw two different kind of a circular profile. First one as a circular edge, transfer into a profile by using of converted edges. After that, draw on another circular profile. Then give the dimensions of 18 mm. Once it is given, then exit the sketch and form a solid body up to the next of the surface. So selecting this 2D profile and choose up to surface, selecting this bottom faces, but we need to uncheck the merge cell because then only it can able to separate the body. Now it is separated within each other. Let's select a front plane and create a new sketch. Now I am going to change the display slide right now. Because it is easy to view the inner area, also draw the profile at the right portions also perfectly an easy one. Let's draw on a horizontal center line. We just need to coincide this point at this area. Afterwards, give the dimensions for this portions is 15 mm. Then give 7.5 mm. Afterwards, choose the overall dimensions. The horizontal dimensional area is 57. Selecting this vertical line as well as a point, then give the horizontal dimensions of 57 divided by 2 is nothing but 28.5 mm. Then exit the sketch and form a revolved solid body. Once the solid body is created, using this also we can able to mirror from right portions to left portions. The solid body is selected from faces to faces, then choose this right plane to create it on the opposite portions. Once it is created on the opposite area, then look at this exact thing we need to create a fillet formations. So choose the fillet, selecting the circular edges, then form it within the radius of 5 mm. There is none of the radius are given on the 2D drawing. I just given randomly on these portions. Let's form a hole wizard at the exact position itself. How we can easily make that? By using of hole wizard. First, Either we can directly prefer a countersink and choose whatever the recommended standard dimensions we want, or we can select a legacy hole to change whatever the respective dimensions we want. Go to the hole wizard, choose a legacy hole and select countersink or countersink drilled, whatever the respective category you want. Then change the exact dimensions. What is the exact dimensions? We just should compare this with the 2D drawing itself by double clicking the portions and change the dimensions. There is a larger diameter as well as a smaller diameter. The smaller diameter is nothing but 2 mm. The larger diameter is 8 mm. Once it is given, now we need to change the length. It takes at the default portions of through all category. If I want to change the end condition only, then only we can able to change the overall height also. Look at it. The end condition is take it into a default portions of through all. That's why I change the category into a blind and change the depth value at this area. Once it is changes, then what is the degree of this? It is a 90 degree. Selecting this face, located on the center point, then form a simple countersink at the right positions. Then go to the type. Here the depth value is increased. So just to change the depth value at this area. Once the depth value is decreased, yes, it is now the proper one. Now the countersink is formed at the exact location. Once it is created, we can just use these features. Also, use the mirror features to mirror from right portions to left portions. Select the mirror and choose this particular hole wizard. Mirror it from one locations to another locations. Okay, let's create a new countersink at this cylindrical faces. How we can simply create it on these portions means, first we need to create a plane tangentially. So select a top plane, create a new sketch, change this display state into a normal wireframe and draw on. Either we can prefer a center line or we can choose a point to draw a profile. So select a point, use this quadrant to create a profile. Afterwards, within this point also we can able to create a plane. Change this display state now. Select its tangential faces as well as a point to create a plane. Then select this plane. We can able to form a hole wizard. Select this plane and choose this particular point. Afterwards, we just change the sizes in the legacy hole itself. What is the exact type? Either we can prefer a countersink drilled or we can choose a countersink. Then change the dimensions of this area. The dimensions for this exact countersink hole is nothing but the hole diameter is 3 mm. The inner diameter is not given. We just assume the value of this area. The hole diameter is 3 mm. Then I am going to change the value for the inner diameter is 2 mm. Afterwards, we just change the depth value also. What is the depth value for this current portion means? Choose whatever the dimensions, minimum dimensions we want. It is a complete hole. Just specified up to the right portions. We can directly change the dimensions or we can simply change the end condition itself. Choose up to surface, select this cylindrical faces. It takes the cylindrical faces as the end conditions to create this countersink. Now the countersink is formed. Look at this exact portions. If we choose a section view, we can know in detail about it. Suppose if I want to change the diameter for this inner countersink portion means, select it and use an edit features. Then change the dimensions of this area is either 1 mm or 1.5 mm, whatever the category we want. This is the exact bearing bush done from this 2D drawing. Based on a two different, one is a top view, another one is a front view. Small broken out section area. Okay, within this we can simply make this solid body, revolved body. If you want to learn a full course, log on to www.kaleri.in.